The 2025 Academy Awards are just around the corner. Of course, there'll be some snubs and controversies, but what are the biggest controversies and Oscar snubs in the history of the ceremony? Let's find out in this episode.
What is up, movie friends? Welcome back to Raiders of the Lost podcast, the ultimate film and TV podcast. The Oscars are coming up. A ton of award shows have given out their honors, the BAFTAs, the Globes, the SAG Awards, DGA, Producers Guild. We got them all over the place, but the last big one is, I think everybody considers the Oscars to be the penultimate peak apex mountain of award season in film. And we made a very special episode in anticipation for these Oscars to talk about the most famous snubs ever of all time, because we have plenty of snubs this year, as well as some of the biggest controversies to ever hit the Academy Awards, and finally, the biggest surprises ever at the Oscars.
And I'd like to start with talking about the Vegas odds of who's going to win awards. So what are the Academy Awards 2025 Vegas odds for winners? Right now, The Brutalist has a 60% chance of winning Best Picture. Emilia Perez in second place with 23%. And then what about Best Director odds for 2025? Brady Corbett, number one, with a 76% chance of winning Best Director at the Academy Awards. Again, a category that Denis Villeneuve was not nominated for. Sean Baker is in second place at 22%.
And he just won the BAFTA.
He did. Best Actor odds at 2025's Academy Awards. Adrian Brody has a 65% chance of winning the Academy Award, with Timothée Chalamet close in second place at 30% chance of winning the Academy Award. Best Actress odds for 2025's Academy Awards. Demi Moore is a slight favorite at 58% compared to Mikey Madison's second place chance at winning at 43% odds of winning.
Also, she just won the BAFTA.
Oh, yeah.
For lead actress.
And so I think it's really interesting to see what the favorites are going to be according to Vegas, because they're so brilliant at making odds, for making bets, and betting's fun here and there. But I think it's a pretty accurate representation of what the odds are right now, especially when you're looking at the scandals and the controversies over the last couple of weeks, specifically with Emilia Perez. I'm sure the odds for that movie's nominations and awards have just been knocked down several pegs, but it still is second place chance odds for winning Best Picture, but everything else has been knocked down.
Yeah, I mean, for a film that has won what it already has, for it to now be in second place means that all of that news did hurt the film. And I gotta say, I think it's an up-in-the-air coin toss, three-way split between Brutalist, Emilia Perez, and Honora. I wouldn't be surprised if we got another sleeper underdog, which the Oscars do like, and Honora taking away the big prize. And also, big step forward for Sean Baker winning the DGA Award, winning the Critics' Choice Award, and then winning the BAFTA Award for Best Director. Those are really significant, and I think poises him to actually be the new favorite to win Best Director over Brady Corbett.
I think that's a great assessment.
If I was going to put money down, I would bet Sean Baker. I would honestly, if I was going to put money down, maybe I will. I'm throwing down on Honora.
I think that's a good bet. I think it's
right
a fair
now,
bet.
I think it is.
Especially with all the controversies. But today's episode is specifically going to be talking about the snubs, controversies, the biggest ones in history. But, before we continue, do all the things. Subscribe on YouTube, like on Instagram, Spotify, Apple. Follow us there. Leave those 5-star ratings. All those things help our show so much. So if you're interacting with us online, that only helps the show in any way possible. Do you want to start with snubs or controversies? What do you want to do first?
Let's start with some snubs.
All right, let's do snubs.
Let's get into the tea. Tell us the tea, man.
Yeah, so it's not exactly like worst to best. I just did a big list of them. And I think one of the most prominent ones is Citizen Kane losing Best Picture when it came out.
Now, what did it lose to?
I'm not sure, but
Let me Google it.
This is a remarkable feat of filmmaking. It was a groundbreaking movie. Orson Welles' directorial debut, arguably the best ever, if not one of the best debuts to ever grace the screens of cinemas of all time.
Oh, okay. So it lost to How Green Was My Valley, which was directed by John Ford, which also won Best Director. It's a Welsh melodrama about the lives of coal miners, and I've never seen it. It must be a very good film. I mean, John Ford's one of the greatest directors of all time, but I mean, I doubt it's anywhere on the same level as Citizen Kane, but it is still John Ford, one of the most extraordinary directors of that age. But what Orson Welles did with Citizen Kane paved the way for the future of filmmaking and the future of cinema. He broke a lot of rules, him and his DP, and it led to, I mean, every one of your favorite filmmakers I would say, put Citizen Kane as their list of one of the greatest films ever made. So its influence on the impact of the future of cinema 80 years later is still felt.
Also, another huge snub here. Alfred Hitchcock never won Best Director at the Academy Awards. A lot of legendary directors never won the award. I actually have a list.
Let's hear it.
So, legendary male directors who have never won Best Director at the Oscars include Alfred Hitchcock, Stanley Kubrick, Spike Lee, Quentin Tarantino, David Fincher, David Lynch, Paul Thomas Anderson, Ridley Scott, Wes Anderson, Terrence Malick. The list goes on and on and on of all-time insanely influential filmmakers who've never won the Academy Award for Best Director. Some of these guys have never won an Academy Award. Some have gotten honorary awards here and there, but that's a huge snub, I think, Alfred Hitchcock never winning, as well as Kubrick.
Yeah, I mean, Kubrick, they got honorary Oscars. Kubrick got an honorary Oscar, but, I mean, the idea that from the 60s to the 80s, nobody really paved the way for what cinema was the way that Kubrick did, and not being a winner in any of those shows how, by the numbers, and you take this all with a grain of salt in terms of who wins awards, because he's arguably the most influential director who ever lived, and maybe had the greatest impact on cinema than any other filmmaker in history. And for him to not win anything. Also, I mean, like you said, Paul Thomas Anderson's never won an Oscar. He's been nominated for screenplay. He's been nominated for director. But for him not to win an Oscar, he's not as old as, obviously, someone like Hitchcock was or Stanley Kubrick before they passed away, but he has had, in my opinion, one of the most storied careers of the last 20 years.
He's never won for screenplay?
He was nominated for Magnolia. He was nominated for Boogie Nights. He was nominated for There'll Be Blood.
11 Oscar nominations for this guy.
He's never won.
Wow.
So many Oscar nominations. That's really striking. But I don't really see PTA getting Oscars love anytime soon, because he's at a point where he's making movies he really likes to make and telling stories he really likes to tell, which are very unique. Films like Thomas Pynchon adaptations, Inherent Vice's new film. It's not going to get him an Oscar, but I'm sure it's going to be absolutely remarkable filmmaking, like all of his films have.
Yeah, but every year's different.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about a lot of snubs, but at the end of the day, every year's different. There are different kinds of movies that come out, even though it's Paul Thomas Anderson coming out in 2007 with There Will Be Blood. No Country for Old Men's the really big Oscar darling, even though There Will Be Blood took a couple home in terms of a film. But every year's different kinds of movies come out. There's always something going on that really gets Oscar love specifically because of the kind of movie it is, whether it has cultural significance with political things happening in the country or around the world.
Yeah.
That often has an impact on the awards. So it's not like these people don't deserve awards or that it's shocking. How could they've never won? You got to factor in every year's different in terms of competition.
Yeah. And then another director, actor, I'm sorry, Peter O'Toole, who's one of the most accomplished actors in history, and probably the most. He had 8 Oscar nominations without any wins.
Holy shit!
I think he's the highest nominated actor without a win. The most nominations to go home with 0. He did not win for his career-defining role of Lawrence of Arabia. He did not win this award, although he's absolutely mesmerizing this film. It's one of the most interesting characters ever put on film. The complexity of Lawrence and Peter O'Toole's performances is really remarkable, and it's a sight to behold. And not only, Lawrence of Arabia gets so much attention for its unbelievable filmmaking, but Peter O'Toole is, like, when you're shooting Peter O'Toole, it's hard to mess that up. You know what I mean?
He never even got an honorary Oscar.
Yeah, he didn't.
Oh, no, 2003 honorary award.
Okay, but 8 nominations, I believe.
Yeah, you're correct. 8 actor nominations without a win. That's insane. I didn't know it was that much.
And that role is it's one of the most famous roles in movies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It really is. The trick, William Potter, is not minding that it hurts. Let's move on to a movie that changed categories, specifically Best Picture, changing the number of movies that can not get nominated for Best Picture now. It used to be 5, now it can be up to 10. The Dark Knight did not get nominated for Best Picture when it came out in 2008.
Or director.
2009 Academy Awards. And because of the outcry and it being a huge controversy, people theorized that the Academy vetoed it because they didn't want a comic book movie being nominated. But then, obviously, the first comic book movie to be nominated for Best Picture becomes Black Panther several years later. Dark Knight absolutely deserved it. It was hands down one of the best movies of the year. And because it didn't get nominated, there are now potentially 10 nominees every year.
Yeah, there was so much outcry, and imagine if social media was what it was back then.
Holy crap.
Yeah, people were. I'm still not over this. And also, I mean, it's same thing with Inception not getting nominated for Nolan for Inception. That's absurd. But also,
Inception was nominated for Best Picture. I believe.
Nolan not getting nominated.
Oh, okay,
that's what
yeah.
I mean. And then also, I think in The Dark Knight was really, it just had a huge effect, a profound effect, and a ripple effect is still being seen to this day.
Well, one of the upcoming snubs might as well stay on is Christopher Nolan not getting a Best Director nomination until Dunkirk.
Yeah.
It took him that long into his career to get a nomination for Dunkirk.
When people complain about like a director they like who on their second film didn't get nominated, it's like Nolan made Dark Knight, Inception, The Prestige,
Interstellar,
and he didn't get nominated. It's like, I don't want to hear anyone cry about someone not getting nominated on their second film or their first film. It's like
Memento's a movie that, if that came out today, would get a Best Director nomination.
Yes,
hands down.
he got a screenplay nomination, but that is an unbelievable film. It's so well crafted.
Yeah.
All right, let's break down probably the most famous snub that people remember. And this was when Saving Private Ryan, which destroyed every awards circuit and won so many accolades, was denied Best Picture in favor of Shakespeare in Love, starring Gwyneth Paltrow, which is it's a good movie. It's fine, but Saving Private Ryan was a landmark war film, and on top of that, Spielberg absolutely broke the boundaries of filming war scenes. His handheld camera work, Janusz Kaminski's lighting, and then the silver bypass. We got a new look of film that it was copied and duplicated for films for 20 years. This kind of filmmaking and this what they did in the lab with the film stocks, and it is the most harrowing depiction of war I think I've ever seen. And he is an absolute beast. When you look at the scale of this film, the battles, the three major battles, and how many pieces are moving, how big the sets are, all of the military equipment, all the extras. It's absolutely insane. And what's even more shocking is he did it without storyboarding, which is bonkers. He wanted to walk into it as fluidly as possible. He didn't even storyboard. He was just doing it all on the fly. I think it's really one of the most remarkable feats of directing with Saving Private Ryan. So not win is insane.
Plus the carnage that was introduced into war films. Not that we'd never seen anything graphic, but to the point of the opening scene of storming the beach of Normandy. I don't think anyone had ever seen anything like that before in their lives, and actually making you feel like you're at war. It won 5 Academy Awards, including Best Director for Spielberg, but not winning Best Picture was arguably one of the biggest snubs in Oscar history. Another huge snub is for 2025's Academy Awards. Denis Villeneuve not even getting nominated for Best Director for Dune Part 2 is just a shocker, and I think that's just going to be a legendary snub.
I think what's most shocking about Denis' snub this year is the fact that it's like every institution snubbed him except for the BAFTAs. There's DGAs, the Globes, the Oscars. I'm just like, I've been flabbergasted by like, the BAFTAs are really the only major one that gave him a nomination.
Well, he got nominated for, is that true? Yeah, I think you're right.
I can't think of.
Well, he got nominated for DGA, didn't he? He just didn't win.
No. He didn't get nominated.
I'd have to double check that.
I don't think he got nominated.
He definitely didn't get nominated for most of the awards this year, award ceremonies this year. Let me pull up his IMDb real quick, and we can kind of fact check that. So
we got Mangold, Corbett, Berger, Sean Baker, Ouidard for director DGAs. Nothing from the DGAs.
Wow, yeah. BAFTA gave it to him. Best director.
Yeah.
Critics' Choice, Best Director nom. So yeah, the big ones he didn't get.
None of the big ones, except for the BAFTAs. That's what's so shocking about it. It's like, okay, Nolan didn't even get nominated for Inception, but he won DGA award. You know what I mean? That's what's so I think so shocking about this whole year.
Yeah,
for Denis,
it's just confusing at the end of the day. It really is. All right, let's keep going through this crazy list. One of the all-timers in terms of one of the best actors ever, a legend, still going strong, Samuel L. Jackson. He's never won an Academy Award for acting. He's only been nominated once for Pulp Fiction. And I think that's just shocking. And when he lost for Pulp Fiction, he lost to Martin Landau and Ed Wood, he's good in that performance. But Jules in Pulp Fiction is one of the most iconic characters ever. especially in crime genre. And I still think it's shocking that Sam Ellis never won for acting, especially the movies he's done with Tarantino. You know, The Hateful Eight.
I think
getting
that's
snubbed for that is absurd.
Django
is incredible.
Django is great.
So I think Samuel Jackson I'll double check. I'm pretty sure he's only been nominated for acting one time.
That's shocking.
One time. Pulp Fiction.
Shocking.
That's the only time he's been nominated for an Oscar.
That's unbelievable. I think that you can't even picture Pulp Fiction without that performance. It probably does. It doesn't work without him.
It's the most electric performance in the movie.
Yeah, like you need Vincent, you need Butch, but it's really Jules is the glue of that movie.
He's the juice.
Yeah,
he's the guitar. He's the Fade Ralpha.
Yeah, he's the solo.
Yeah.
You need him. Okay, speaking of. Oh, okay. Oh, I don't know what happened there. I got a little, I don't know, something. Quentin Tarantino, we're on the subject, has never won an Oscar for Best Director. And, I mean, I've known this, and it's also like one of those things where people complain about directors not winning, and I'm like, dude, talk to Tarantino about that. He's won 2 screenplay Oscars, but he could easily have 4 screenplay Oscars. Absolutely. He won for Pulp Fiction and Django. He could have 5, honestly, screenwriting.
Yeah. If it wasn't for Hurt Locker coming out the same year as Inglourious Bastards, you know, that movie, I think Inglourious would have swept so many categories. And he did get Best Screenplay for Django in addition to getting Best Screenplay for Pulp Fiction. But Inglourious Bastards losing out Best Screenplay, I think, was also a huge, huge snub. I mean, that movie's remarkable. And, you know, maybe he'll win on his last movie. We'll find out. But I think that him never winning, it might be one of the more shocking ones for directors never having won.
And it's I don't know what it is, because his filmmaking is so creative, and his filmmaking is so artistic and powerful and classic. And I mean, just look at Kill Bill Volume 1. He could easily have won for that.
Watched it the other day.
The directing in that movie is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
It's nuts. And then you got Django and Inglourious. Like, he could have. It's shocking to me he hasn't won Best Director. I don't know why. I don't know why he hasn't won. I don't know. Who knows? Next up, we're on to Sidney Pollack. His romance Out of Africa won the Academy Award over Steven Spielberg's The Color Purple. And during the Oscars ceremony in the year of 1986. Out of Africa, it's a really good movie, but The Color Purple, especially when it came out, was really fantastic, and Spielberg showed another side of his filmmaking, and it was one of the biggest snubs ever for sure.
Then we have the most surprising Best Picture win probably of all time. In 2006, Crash wins Best Picture, which, you know, Crash is a good movie. I'm never not going to say that. It's a good movie, but it beat Brokeback Mountain, Capote, and Munich at the Academy Awards.
What a year.
Brokeback is just, that's a huge snub. Brokeback not winning that year, the best movie of the year, I think, hands down. But Crash beating that was shocking.
Brokeback's in my top 10 of the 21st century.
I think that's pretty cool.
Ang Lee won director, though.
Mm-hmm.
Deservedly so, but that's just like, maybe the voters weren't ready for it, is my guess.
Probably.
And then they went with the Beatty, multi-storied facets of like the kind of hot button topics that Crash hit on, which still works to this day, making films about hot button topics. It works for awards attention.
I think we found out with Amelia Perez. 13 nominations.
But Brokeback Mountain is, I think, one of the great masterworks of cinema, in modern cinema, in Ang Lee's greatest film, even better than Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. I can't think of a more powerful film that came out that year, and more deserving. Next up, Oscar bait, The King's Speech wins Best Picture in 2011. Now, The King's Speech is a good
bait.
I threw that in. King's Speech is a good movie.
It is.
I like it a lot.
Yeah.
I love Colin Firth. I love Jeffrey Rush. Helena Bonham Carter.
I've seen it once. That's it.
Exactly. That's the point. Tom Hooper, the director, he's a solid director. Although he made Cats, he did make this and Les Mis, and those are good movies. The King's Speech is a nice movie. However, listen to this stacked year. So it beat Black Swan, The Fighter, Inception, and The Social Network. Are you fucking kidding me? What a year.
Any one of those other ones I would have been totally fine with winning.
Absolutely.
It's surprising that the one that I thought least likely to win won Best Picture.
I think that you throw Nazis in your movie, it bumps your chances up.
Yeah, I think that's for sure. Yeah,
is what
there's a lot of Best Picture winners that involve Nazis in the plot at some point, especially in like the 40s and 50s.
Yeah, but I mean, I think it's pretty safe to say The Social Network is is the landmark film. Although I think Inception and Black Swan, The Fighter. These are all, I think, 10 out of 10 movies.
Well, I mean, what do you mean by landmark?
I think Social Network's one of the greats of the century.
Oh, it's
Inception,
up there.
yeah,
I mean,
so-
Inception is too.
Yeah,
Inception's that lit
Fucking
everyone's hair on
Nolan.
fire for 10 years,
Fucking
man.
Nolan, man.
Even The Fighter's great, but Black Swan is absolutely
This
remarkable.
is a crazy year.
It is.
That's a really nuts year.
That's a tough
Like, how do you
year.
even pick one and then you pick The King's Speech?
I know.
I think it's just like what Oscar voters liked is like that kind of movie.
True.
And I mean, The King's Speech is a good movie, but it's not even on the same level as these three.
It's not. Let's move on to Francis Ford Coppola, who had a lot of success with Godfather, of course, but he lost Best Director the year he came out with Apocalypse Now in 1980 to Robert Benton, who made Kramer for Kramer, which a great movie as well.
Kramer versus Kramer.
What'd I say?
4.
Kramer versus Kramer.
Yeah.
I was thinking Ford versus Ferrari. I think that just popped in my head. But Apocalypse Now, one of the most influential films of all time. It's up there. It's a wonderful masterpiece. It's insane.
I think also everyone agrees it's one of the best directed films ever.
Yeah.
Everything from the cinematography to the editing, it's just absurd how
Plus
good.
what he put into it.
Yeah, it's nuts. Maybe it's because it was coming off of Godfather's
That's what I think.
domination. People were like, we're tired of seeing Coppola here.
I think that's
Maybe.
probably what it is.
Coppola and Scorsese and Lucas and Spielberg, the boys. Everyone's sick of them winning.
Well, Scorsese wasn't winning shit until...
That's true. He wasn't winning.
Scorsese wasn't winning. He didn't win Best Director till The Departed.
Talk about snubs.
Yeah.
Taxi Driver, Raging Bull, Mean Streets, Goodfellas, Casino. Talk about snubs.
Imagine directing those and not winning Best Director.
Unbelievable. Yeah, imagine your Best Director win is like your 5th best movie. 6th best movie.
Arguably, yeah, it could be lower.
That's nuts, man. That's insane.
Not winning for Raging Bull is a shocker.
Yeah. And Kramer vs. Kramer, it's a great film. It's a great film. But, I mean, the directing in Apocalypse is just insane.
I was watching this interview with a director. Oh, it's Tarantino. He's talking about Brian De Palma, who came out with a movie the same year as Raging Bull came out.
Yeah.
And
Do you remember the movie?
I can't remember.
So 81.
It might have been Blowout. And so he comes out with Blowout, and he's friends with Tarantino, and he's telling him about the story. He's like, oh, I was like excited about this movie. I thought it was like my best movie yet. And then I go to the theater. I go to see Raging Bull, and the opening credits open up, and it's just De Niro in the ring, slow motion, black and white, smoking. I'm like, God damn it, Martin Scorsese. God damn it. He's like, I should just quit. Like, I can't compete.
And De Palma's opened with the sorority girls getting killed in a POV slasher.
Blowout's a great movie.
Blowout's one of my favorite movies.
That's what's so funny. But like, imagine just being in that position. Then you go to the cinema and you see the opening of Raging Bull, which I feel like people don't appreciate that movie at all.
You could say that
era.
about a lot of Scorsese movies.
This era, especially though. Raging Bull is just, I feel like so many people don't talk about it or care about it.
I think you're right. I feel like Raging Bull used to get a lot more respect when we were kids. You would hear certain people talk about it and see a lot of dialogue about it online.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's kind of forgotten.
Taxi Driver gets talked about, of course.
Yeah, obviously, yeah.
Goodfellas,
yeah.
but I mean, Raging Bull is amazing. But I mean, I understand that because the opening scene is just like, it's so
genius.
brilliant. It really is. It's so masterful.
Probably
But-
the best edited film, too.
But yeah, I can only
ever.
imagine De Palma just be like, God damn it, fucking look at this guy. Different level.
Oh, my God. All right, let's move back to Spike Lee, who has joked about his lack of love from the Oscars. And here's a big one. So Do the Right Thing, his big breakout, did not receive Best Picture nomination out of the 5 movies nominated. Kim Basinger presented Best Picture that year and made note of the snub, saying, "We've got 5 great films here, and they're great for one reason. They tell the truth. But there is one film missing from this list that deserves to be on it because, ironically, it might tell the biggest truth of all, and that's Do the Right Thing." What a great little nod to it.
Yeah, so Do the Right Thing got 2 Oscar nominations, Best Screenplay and Best Actor. And he was obviously nominated, but he didn't win. But not getting nominated for Best Picture was definitely a snub. And then Driving Miss Daisy won that year. You know, similar thing happened to Spike when he made Black Klansman. Green Book wins Best Picture that year over his movie Black Klansman. He won Best Screenplay that year, but also another snub for sure.
Yeah. That's one of the great films of all time.
Now we also have a fun controversy here. There's some insane controversies I didn't want to talk about on the show because it's just too
much
scandalous.
tea. Too much tea?
Too much tea. And it's
This
just
is not a gossip
I don't want to get
podcast.
into that
Yeah,
kind of
it's not a
stuff. There's some
gossip
crazy stuff that happened at the Oscars. But James Franco and Anne Hathaway's notoriously bad hosting duties in 2011. Now, why did I accidentally put this in Snubs? This should have been in Controversies. So
we're in there.
We'll keep
We're in
talking
there,
about it.
dog.
So we'll call this a controversy. James Franco and Anne Hathaway's performance was just pretty bad. Anne Hathaway seemed uncomfortable. Franco disinterested. There were bad jokes, awkward silences. At one point, Franco came out on stage dressed as Marilyn Monroe for no particular reason. The script was clunky, delivered terribly, whatever was going on. BTS, everyone saw on stage that it was pretty terrible.
Yeah, it was a really kind of like a disaster in terms of hosting. And I remember this is when Twitter was getting super popular, and he, like, when they first walked out, he was filming it with his phone, and like it was like a live on Twitter.
Yeah, he has some phone.
Yeah, he's like filming it, like, oh, look at this point of view perspective of hosting the Oscars, and it's like, bro, people, especially older people, don't want to see that. They want to see like the Oscars they know and love, not some guy with a smartphone out. Also, so he did an interview like years ago, and he talked about this. I can't remember where he did it. Maybe it was a podcast or something. And they asked about this, and he said he was teaching at NYU while directing a film, writing another film, and acting in a film. And he would fly to New York to teach classes, and then fly back to work on a film. Like, he did that. He did this crazy routine every day. And they asked him about the Oscars, and he said yes to it. He said he was like addicted to working.
That's crazy.
And he couldn't stop. He just said he couldn't stop working. And the other professors at NYU would be like, "You sure you have time to do this?" And he would just say, "Yeah, I have to do it. I have to work." And so he'd be teaching and acting and directing, and then hosting the Oscars all in the same like month.
That's insane.
Yeah,
he looked tired.
Yeah, that's why he looked so tired, and they didn't even like really prep much. And the guy was just like, I can't remember how he worded it. I listened to this years ago, but he said that he was like, he didn't know how to take a break, essentially. Like, he felt like he always had to be working.
Well, I think we need to take a break.
Yes.
And we should head into our intermission. But before we continue, the best way to support Raiders of the Lost podcast is to leave those become a patron today. A patron at patreon.com/Raiders of the Lost podcast. Become a member of the show, where you get access to weekly bonus episodes of Raiders of the Lost podcast. You get access to the commercial ad-free version of every single episode, so you can listen without those commercial breaks. Also, you get access to our Discord. Every tier of membership, we have 5, has different perks, so check out which membership is best for you. But for as little as an annual payment of $10, just $10 for a whole year, you get membership to our Patreon and access to specific perks. Go to patreon.com/Raiders of the Lost podcast. It is the best way to keep our show going and running and alive. Another great way to support the show, those 5-star ratings and reviews on Spotify and Apple. These reviews help us get seen by new people. They add reputability to the show, so people are more likely to listen to us if they discover us on Spotify or Apple. I love to read the written reviews out. Subscribe on YouTube as well. We just broke 50,000 subs last month, which was huge. But man, I want to hit 100K. I want 100,000, and I want it now.
I want it
now.
I want it.
So subscribe on YouTube. Even if you don't watch on YouTube, just hit the subscribe button. It's not going to hurt anybody. Everyone's got a Google account, a Google Gmail account.
A Google Gmail.
Yeah, one of those Gmail things. Another great way to support the show, just share us. Word of mouth is the best way for a podcast to grow. So let everyone you know about our podcast. If you have any friends or family members that love movies, send them an episode. Send them your favorite episode. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok. Share our videos. That helps so much. Build traction. Leave comments everywhere. And thank you so much.
This episode, of course, is sponsored by our friends at movieposters.com, the #1 place to get your movie posters online today. Be sure to use our promo code right now, Raiders10 at movieposters.com. That will get you 10% off your order immediately. They have a huge selection of pretty much every film and TV show imaginable in their poster library. Everything from your favorite modern Hollywood blockbuster to your favorite golden era classic, as well as a huge selection of international films. They have, for all of you collectors out there, really cool lobby cards and original movie poster prints of all of your favorites from modern to classics. These are great for those collectors out there. You can get them at movieposters.com. Our set is decked out with these posters. Check out the new short film One Click behind James. That poster looks absolute sick, absolute fire, man.
Pretty awesome. Thanks,
Absolutely
Movie
fire.
Posters and David over there. What an awesome team.
And that is a double-sided movie theater poster.
Original print.
Original
That's what
print.
that's called.
It's gonna
yeah.
be a collector's item one day.
It maybe, hopefully.
Backlit. You get
Look at that.
You can get backlit frames at movie posters just like that.
We blew up a fucking car. Look at it.
We
Look
did.
at that.
We did. So again, all of your poster needs. There's only one place to go. The one-stop shop is movieposters.com, and use our promo code Raiders10. That will always get you 10% off your order today.
It's time to play games. We'll start with Cinephile, the movie card game where we pull a card. It has an actor or actress, and Anthony and I have to go back and forth naming movies from their filmography until someone can't anymore. And I pulled Ryan Gosling, baby.
Oh, cool.
And you can't say Drive.
Can't say Drive. Okay. I'm going to say The Nice Guys.
I'm going to say, I almost said Drive. The Ides of March.
Barbie.
The Fall Guy.
Of course you would.
It's a good movie.
Blue Valentine.
Let's go with, trying to be strategic about this one. Trying to. Crazy Stupid Love.
That's good strategy.
Thanks.
Really good strategy. I'm going to go with, I'm blanking. Shit. Ides of March.
I already said it.
Fracture.
There we go. Nice job. Man, it's so funny because it's fucking Gosling and your brain's just like, nope, not today. Whew. All right, I'm just trying to think of a shirtless scenes. All right, Young Hercules.
Was that a movie or a show?
Yeah, it's a movie.
Let me just double check.
Go ahead.
This was a series.
Oh, was
Not
it?
a film. Series.
Okay.
One season.
Let me start over with that answer. The Place Beyond the Pines.
The Notebook.
Oh, yeah.
Did you have to think about that?
Like, oh, yeah, he is in the Notebook. I forgot what
You came up with the theory from being crazy, remember?
Yeah. That reposted on Twitter the other day. All right, Ryan Gosling, my guy. Why am I blanking on his last 8 years of movies? Frickin' Half Nelson.
La La Land.
Of course, I posted a La La Land clip today. That's so fucking funny. I literally posted one today. I hashtagged Ryan Gosling this morning. Oh man, getting
cooked?
Not yet. The Big Short.
Gangster Squad.
Fuck.
I was just thinking Emma Stone ones.
Are we out of Emma Stone and Ryan Gosling?
Yeah, that's
ones?
all. We
Yeah, we did all three.
Yeah.
Crazy Stupid Love. Yeah. Gangster Squad and La La Land. All right. We really can't say Drive.
Can't do it.
God damn it. I know you already have one ready to go, locked and loaded.
in the chamber.
That really annoys me. I can see it on
in
your
the
I can see it on your face.
You're gonna hate yourself.
I can just see it on your face. Ah! God damn it. Why can't I think of Gosling movies right now? My brain, shut up. I'm out of time.
Blade Runner 2049.
Oh! God damn it. Fucking hell. I know there's a huge movie that I can't think of right now.
That's great. Sorry, man.
Fucking hell.
Sorry, man.
Oh, goodness.
man,
I fucking hate this game. I really do. I hate it. Every time I have to pull out a Cinephile card during intermission, I'm just
James has nightmares
getting
about it now.
stomach aches. Let's get to the movie quote competition. You ready?
Ready?
Villainy wears many masks, none so dangerous as the mask of virtue.
I don't know. It's a great quote.
Sleepy Hollow.
Good one.
Ichabod Crane.
Great quote. Mother, I do not need a blind date, particularly not with some verbally incontinent spinster who drinks like a fish, smokes like a chimney, and dresses like her mother.
Can you say it one more time?
Mother, I do not need another blind date, particularly not with some verbally incompetent spinster who drinks like a fish, smokes like a chimney, and dresses like her mother.
I don't know.
Bridget Jones's Diary. Wasn't sure you'd get that.
Good quote, though.
Yeah, it's a funny one.
All right, I got a pretty good pop quiz question for you. But it's tough, but I have faith in you. So,
Let's hear it.
in 2000, the Best Picture winner at the Academy Awards was American Beauty from the year 1999. Can you name any of the other 4 movies that were nominated for Best Picture that year?
It won in 2000?
Yep.
So it's the year 1999?
Yep.
Oh, this is tough. Matrix?
Nope.
No, it didn't get
Not
nominated.
nominated.
The Truman Show?
Nope.
Fuck. Damn. Oh, was that 94? No, that's 99.
Somewhere around there.
99. It's such a good year. It's
Yeah,
hard.
no.
It's hard to pick. Hold on, American Beauty. I'm trying to think what else came out that year. Fight Club didn't get any love. I'm
No.
sure about that.
Mm-mm.
I don't know. I don't know any of them.
So, hold on, I want to double check the Truman Show. Was that 98?
Okay.
So, the other Best Picture nominees were The Green Mile,
Green Mile. I was gonna. Oh, fucking about to say that.
The Sixth Sense,
Oh, nice.
The Insider,
Oh yeah.
and The Cider House Rules, which Michael Caine won an Academy Award for.
Great fucking 4 movies.
Pretty good.
Good stuff. All right, here's my quiz question. Oh, did you do a year one? A year movie?
Oh, I skipped it. My bad. So let's go pop quiz, then
All
movie
right.
year.
How many Oscars does Renee Zellweger have, and can you name the films?
She's 2 Oscars.
Yes.
Judy
Yes.
and Bridget Jones' Diary won.
No.
What else did she win for? Definitely not Me, Myself, and Irene.
Jim Carrey could have won.
Was it for a musical?
Yes.
Was it Moulin Rouge?
No.
Well, no,
That's
she's not in
Nicole.
that. That's Nicole. What musical was it? Fuck. Chicago.
Correct.
Yes.
Well done.
Nice.
Can you name the other lead actors in that movie? For
In
some
Chicago?
bonus- yeah, for some bonus points.
Gene Hackman.
Richard Gere.
Richard
is
Gere.
close. And then Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Gotcha.
That was a big hit.
Yeah, it was. Ethan, you guess this movie released here? Big Daddy.
1995.
99.
99. Oh, wow. What a
It
year.
somehow didn't get nominated for Best Picture.
Just cover with some newspaper. Veronica will handle it. What year did Cold Mountain come out?
2000 and... Oh. Is it 2 or 5? 2 or 5? 2003.
Yeah. You're on fire with the release years.
Let's go!
You're
Let's
on
go, baby!
Fire. Damn. Wow. All right, time for some unsubscribes. However, I did forget my phone in the house.
Uh-oh.
So I did pull up YouTube. We got some here.
I also
Sorry.
sent you one.
Oh, just read yours while I pull up the other YouTube comment thread.
Or hold on, I think I sent it to myself. Let me double check. Okay, we got one.
Let's hear it.
Okay, this is from Carmine. Okay, I'll buy the origins anecdote. I'll be the first to credit your sense of humor, creative, and infectious use of English. Again, being from Boston, English can be considered a second language. Where I'll have to draw the line is selling double feature as trend setting. If it is, I'll unsubscribe and ponder the fate of mankind.
It's never going to happen, James.
Also, there's a couple on Spotify because it was over.
Oh yeah, let's hear it.
Brave New World.
I got one on Captain America right here from Ethan. Mackie, what do you play baseball with him? Don't call Anthony Mackie like you're on a little league softball team. Unsubscribe.
Hold on, I got
Next, you got one?
I got proven correct with a
Oh,
bunch
let's
of
hear.
with-
Oh yeah.
with a
I
bunch
saw
of
those.
unsubscribes.
Go ahead. Go off. Go ahead.
So
Go
let
ahead.
me pull them up.
I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about.
So, well, do you want in this situation?
We were debating whether in Captain America 4 whether Isaiah, the former super serum Captain America, did in fact shoot the president or did he miss Harrison Ford? James,
from Bo Nicholson. I said that he missed on purpose, by the way, and
Yes.
Anthony said that he got shot, but they just didn't show it.
yeah.
To Bo Nicholson, the shot definitely missed on purpose. To think otherwise, despite what it said in the movie, is utterly ridiculous. Unsubscribe from DJ Brother Mac. I agree with James on this one. The shot definitely missed, and it was on purpose. Anthony, do better. Unsubscribe.
I'll try.
Miko King, someone can get shot, but if they are still standing, people will not think they have been shot. Because of that, I will have to unsubscribe.
It's just logical.
Which is exactly what I was saying. Okay, Darian Wallace. This could keep going on. Thaddeus did not get hit, and the shot was purposely missed. Stern says later in the movie to Cap that he never intended to kill Ross when it was asked, just pushing him to Hulk out. So, I win.
I got a great one from BB Booper. This isn't an unsubscribe. It's just funny. Being able to talk about such a mid-film this long is a real talent. Great. Shout out to you guys, LMAO, about Cat 4.
Hey, look, and you know what? It was good.
James is gonna be nice.
It's fine.
James is gonna
It's
be
fine.
nice.
It's fine. I know a lot of people liked it.
It was fine. Yeah, it was fine.
I don't go to see Marvel movies for them to just be fine. You know, I'm used to it. I was so used to them being great all the time.
I'm not.
I want it to be back to being great. Like every time you go to see a Marvel movie, you know it's gonna be fucking awesome.
It would be nice. It would be nice. They used to be a lot of fun.
I think it's overhated though.
It's not as bad as everyone says.
I think it's overhated.
Yeah.
And since that's all we got for unsubscribes. Let me pull up a 5-star rating.
Let's hear it.
Let's see who's been leaving reviews. If you leave a review on Apple, you can leave a written review, and I will 100% read it on the show. You will be immortalized forever. Here we go with Zachary Luke. Movie guys who are phenomenal!
Phenomenal!
These guys are literally the kings of movie reviews. I've been listening to the show for a couple months now, and I get so excited every time a new episode drops. I will literally stop what I'm listening to and check out the new episode. I listen to these guys while I'm at work, and people constantly ask why I'm laughing so hard or screaming phenomenal out loud.
Phenomenal!
Fun fact, me and my wife are pregnant with twin girls.
Oh, no way.
Congratulations,
That's awesome.
Zachary.
Wow.
If I could get away with it, then my 2 baby girls' names would be James and Anthony. Seriously, this is my favorite podcast of all time. You guys rock. Also, connect. Please get a phenomenal. You got like 10 of them, Zachary. What a great review. Congratulations on the twins.
That's great.
As twins.
I do suggest naming them Anthony and James, though.
Yeah, I also. Yeah.
They're just good names.
Yeah. That's
They're just
smart.
really good names. Even if they're girls.
Yeah.
They're just really
I
good
agree.
names.
You're going to have your hands full. Twins are a blessing. And my mom says a curse at the same time. No, not a curse, because, you know,
We were good babies.
It's a lot of work.
We were good babies.
And she did a great job.
She also had 4 boys to help.
Yeah.
To help hold us while she cooked.
Babysit. But no, I love being a twin, and it's always been a crazy life, and I think it's exciting. So congratulations.
More twins.
More twins.
We're taking over.
It's booming.
Especially if women are having babies later than usual. This is more likelihood of twins happening.
Yeah, because once you get off birth control, it increases the likelihood and the odds of
Yeah.
having twins.
Pretty soon we'll all be twins.
Probably.
Twins are gonna take over. All right, what's your movie recommendation?
Triangle of Sadness on Hulu.
Oh, that's a great fucking one.
Yeah, it's a great pick.
Now you saw The Gorge.
Oh yeah,
I saw you watch it last night. How'd you like it? Because
So-
that's also a streamer.
Yeah, that's on Apple. I'll talk about that more on Letterboxd recap on
I just wanna
Thursday.
know your initial
but
thoughts.
a quick reaction. The concept's there that it can be like an awesome, cool sci-fi action movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's got great romance, but it ends up being there's so many moments where things just don't make sense in terms of character decisions or silly loopholes or plot holes that they fix with just like whatever. It's got so many cool moments, but also so many like scratch your head like what this makes no sense moments.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, like within an hour, I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm having a good time. 2 hot people who really like each other on camera, which was nice because I liked seeing 2 characters from the get-go are into each other. Versus so many movies these days, the romance is so delayed until like the second, third
Or it's just
act.
not there.
It's just not there. Yeah, it's also not there. It's really charming at times and really sweet. Some campy cringe moments here and there. If it went harder in terms of like a horror movie, I think it could have been even better. But it's a good concept. A lot of blue screen and green screen was used.
Seemed like it.
But overall, it was fun. It was fun. It was fun. It was a fun, silly movie. Could have been fucking awesome. But overall, Miles, Anya Taylor-Joy, very fun to watch, very charming, and their chemistry is really good.
Good. Maybe I'll watch it one day when I have Apple.
I have it logged
get
in.
it yeah?
No, I got a free trial with my
Nice.
the membership. I got 3 months free.
3 months free?
Yeah.
Did you buy a new iPad?
No, because I got a new phone last year.
Okay, yeah, when you get a new Apple device.
So I
you get 3
finally
months.
signed up for 3 months.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And then you'll forget about it, and they'll get you.
I put it on the calendar on May 15th to
Cancel.
cancel my subscription.
Smart. All right, my recommendation is After Sun, which is on Netflix. It's a great film.
Let's get into the biggest Oscar controversies of all time now.
Oh, yeah.
And number 1, the king of controversies at the Academy Awards. It's The Slap. The Slap heard around the world. Chris Rock getting slapped by Will Smith at the Academy Awards 2 years ago. and then winning Best Lead Actor. Just a crazy fucking night.
Yeah.
Crazy night. I remember we were watching on Discord with a bunch of Discord members, and we couldn't believe what happened. We were like, "Oh, this is staged." Everyone thought it was staged. Everyone's on YouTube just trying to analyze it from different angles, and it was being shadowed. By YouTube.
They tried to shut it down.
YouTube and Twitter were shadowing the videos. Remember?
Yeah,
then
they stopped it.
Someone leaked a Chinese recording. Australia.
Yeah.
Okay, so different countries. Someone in Australia recorded it on their phone, and it got leaked. And then we finally got to hear what really happened. Got to hear the words because YouTube was like, "Shut it down, shut it down."
Yeah, it was insane. I thought it was all just a gag, but then when you watch the replays of Will screaming at Chris, it was like, okay. And then the reactions of everyone, and I think everyone there was probably like, "Oh, is this an act?" Until they really did hit him.
What really did it for me was someone at the Oscars was filming it.
Yeah.
Like with their smartphone and posted it. That's really what
Oh,
for me.
Yeah. And man, it was crazy. It was insane. And then he won the Oscar for Best Actor, and it was like he got like a 5-minute long speech. They did not play the music for Will Smith after that.
Well, when you win Best Actor or Actress, they let you go.
They'll let you go, but he went for, I think it was the longest Oscar acceptance speech ever, honestly.
Yeah.
I can't think of one that ever went that long for any kind of category. And yeah, the thing is, the biggest problem with that is, and I'm not sure if it's happened, but maybe luckily it hasn't turned into this, but if you set that precedent, you make it seem like it's okay to attack a comedian for making a joke, no matter what kind of comedy show, club, who it is. You're inviting that kind of behavior when a stand-up comedian is getting up in front of people and trying to make them laugh. You know, sometimes they say offensive things. That's why they're comedians. That's comedy. But I think the biggest problem with that was obviously ruining the show. It also overshadowed Questlove winning the Oscar right after. He won Oscar for Best Documentary, Short Film Documentary. So that was sad to see, like, his moment. Like, nobody even remembers that because everyone was still just getting over the fact that there was a literal attack.
Yeah, no one's even watching. Everyone's on their phones.
Yeah,
on
exactly.
Twitter.
So that really shadowed over Questlove's great moment, but then also set up a precedent of attacking comedians for telling jokes.
Yeah, and Chris had to go back out there and do it again.
Yeah, and so luckily, I can't think of any stories of comedians being attacked, but there was the risk of that being a commonality.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Next up, we have the La La Land Moonlight controversy, where La La Land accidentally got read out as Best Picture winner instead of Moonlight's. Quickly corrected, but Faye Dunaway and Warren Beatty went out and read La La Land for Best Picture. Warren Beatty opened the envelope and read it. The entire crew of the film La La Land went on stage and began to give their speeches, only until producer Jordan Horowitz looked at the envelope and announced that actually La La Land had not won Best Picture, Moonlight had.
And how did this happen? I still barely understand it.
I think it's because both are all the movies are listed on the envelope. Maybe I can't remember.
No. I think Warren Beatty was handed the wrong envelope.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to figure it out right now on Google. I think that he was given the wrong envelope, and because why would he read La La Land if it said Moonlight? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think that he read La La Land for Best Director or something like that. He read that envelope, so he was given the incorrect envelope. And that's,
they were given the wrong envelope,
Yes.
which actually contained the name. They were given the Best Actress winner envelope for
it was
Emma Stone.
It was Emma Stone, yeah.
From La La Land. So they saw that, and I guess you're on stage in front of 80 million people, and you're handed an envelope. It says Emma Stone, but also says La La Land on there.
Yeah,
so he's probably just said La La Land.
Yeah, I think that because they were confused when they looked at it, and then he still just said La La Land, and you could tell that he was like, something's not right, but I guess I should just say La La Land was the reaction. And then I love the photo looking at the crowd, and everybody's like gasping faces, but Gosling's giggling. Like there's a shot of like The Rock, he's like eyes wide, like horror, and then Gosling's just like holding in a laugh, like he's just thinks it's ridiculous. It's pretty great. But then yeah, the producer saved it, and Moonlight won.
That's nuts.
Yeah, they were given the wrong envelope. But so the way that the
Gosling was on stage.
Yeah, the way. Oh yeah, he was on stage.
Because La La Land.
Yeah, the way that the Oscar envelopes work is it's a law firm that handles it. And obviously they never worked with this law firm again, but they are the ones who organize the envelopes and close them. And it's just like that. The law firm is the only people that know who the winners are, and they change law firms after this.
I wonder who did it. Like, there's probably someone
Someone who hands them off. Whoever
Yeah.
hands them off.
Crazy.
It was that stage person, whoever that was.
Yeah.
All right, next up, we have a big controversy of the first person to ever decline an Oscar win, screenwriter Dudley Nichols. He was an important figure in the formation of the Screenwriters Guild, the predecessor to the WGA, which sought to provide better protections for screenwriters. In 1935, studios began favoring Screenplaywrights Guild members over SWG members because their interests were more closely aligned. So when Dudley won Best Original Screenplay all the way back in 1936, he declined it on the grounds that to accept it would be to turn his back on nearly 1,000 members of the Screenwriters Guild. What a fucking G.
Yeah.
What an absolute G.
It's a pretty great story.
That's awesome.
In 1973, famously, Marlon Brando won Best Actor for The Godfather, but he sent activist and National Native American Affirmative Image Committee President Sacheen Littlefeather to decline the award on his behalf, gave a speech, and in 2022, the Academy released a formal apology to her. The then president of the Academy wrote, "The abuse you endured because of the statement was unwarranted and unjustified. The emotional burden you have lived through and the cost to your career in our industry are irreparable. For too long, the courage you showed has been unacknowledged. For this, we both offer our deepest apologies and our sincere admiration."
Yeah, I mean, when she was giving her speech, the crowd was booing her.
Yeah.
And then they were like ridiculed for years about it. And I mean, if that happened now, people would be standing up applauding. So it's great to see how times have changed and how the culture has changed. But yeah, she was being booed as she was speaking.
Especially with the next one, number 5.
In 1940, Hattie McDaniel won Best Supporting Actress for Gone with the Wind, making her the first black Oscar winner ever. And she played the housemaid in the film. However, the Academy Awards were held at the Ambassador Hotel, which was segregated. So producer David O. Selznick had to get special permission for her to be allowed in. She was still forced to sit in the back of the room, separated from her white co-stars. Absolutely horrifying.
Insane. 1940. Crazy, crazy time. Next up on our biggest controversies, Marissa Tomei winning Best Supporting Actress for My Cousin Vinny, very young at the time, I think in her mid-20s, and beat out a bunch of huge stars. I believe it was
Meryl
Fonda, maybe, a very big actress at the time, veteran, who everyone thought was going to win. And so then Marissa Tomei wins.
I got it right here. Vanessa Redgrave, Judy Davis are the two big ones, and then Miranda Richardson, Joan Plowright.
Gotcha. And so she won, which I think is deserved. She's great in that movie. It was just a big surprise. But a year later, after she won Best Supporting Actress, The Hollywood Reporter published a rumor that presenter Jack Palance had been confused that night and awarded the wrong person. The rumors persisted for years that Tomei hadn't actually won, but as recent events would indicate, the Oscars will do everything in their power to make sure the correct winners go home with their statues on awards night.
I remember as a kid that it was like joked about that she won. And it was Judy Davis for Husbands and Wives, the Woody Allen film.
Okay,
with
that's what it was.
Michael
Yeah.
Caine's in that, and that was like she was the front runner. But this shows that this is evidence of the Academy having a bias towards comedy performances, because in My Cousin Vinny, Marissa Tomei, she's doing a comedic role, and she steals every moment she's on screen. And just because she's being funny doesn't mean she's not great. And I think there's still this issue of comedy not being recognized by the Academy.
Arguably harder to be funny.
Absolutely. I would say it absolutely is harder to be funny. And she's so funny, especially in the final court scene with her huge monologue about the cars. Like, she's an absolute scene stealer. She makes that movie work better than it would have with not being in it. And again, it just shows that comedy is not as respected as dramatic acting. All right, next up, at number 7, Barbra Streisand and Katharine Hepburn tied for Best Actress.
Yeah, they both got an award.
Wow.
That was a big controversy, too, for years.
I can't think of that ever happening since.
And then another controversy very recently, Amelia Perez's actress Carla Sofia Gasson. Her hateful tweets were discovered a couple weeks ago. She has basically been dropped by Netflix in terms of funding her campaign at award season this year. Usually studios will help fund actors and actresses as they do all the events, the press, the wardrobe, stylists,
travel,
PRs, everything. They'll fund it all for you. Not everyone, but obviously if you're nominated for Best Actress, Netflix is gonna fucking foot the bill. But not everyone gets that kind of treatment. I read recently that Brady Corbett basically revealed on Mark Maron's podcast that he's basically kind of just living movie to movie, paycheck to
Yeah,
paycheck.
yeah.
You know, he's not getting, no one's paying for him to go to these events or paying for his wardrobe and stylist and stuff like that. He's kind of coming out of his own pocket.
Yeah, I mean, he spent 10 years making the movie, trying to get it made, and
He wasn't a huge performer at the box office.
Yeah, it didn't make much. It didn't make that much money, and then I'm sure A24, you know, they can't fly him around the world with his cast and crew and do everything that like someone like a studio like Netflix can do. So yeah, it is limited. But yeah, if you're up for Best Actor, you probably get a little bit more campaign coverage, also depending on the studio too. Next up, big controversy with Roman Polanski winning Best Director for The Pianist. Speaking of Adrian Brody, in 2003, years after allegations and fleeing America for Europe to avoid arrest. Big controversy.
Well, yeah, we'll go back to back here because Adrian Brody, next up on the controversies, kissing Halle Berry after winning Best Lead Actor that year, the youngest person to ever win that award. Timothy could beat him this year. And at the time...
I didn't know this. Hold on.
Yeah, remember he went on stage and kissed her because she presented it.
When he won.
Yeah, when he won.
Gotcha.
In 2017, Halle Berry was asked in an interview on Watch What Happens Live. She said that Adrian kissed her. Her initial reaction was, "What the fuck is happening?" She said, "I don't know if it was a good kiss. I was too focused on what the fuck is going on right now." And it looks like, I think it's just aged poorly in terms of court of public opinion.
He really went in there.
Are you watching it?
Yeah, he grabbed her neck.
Yeah, he is.
And he tilted her.
Yes.
He went in there.
Intimate kiss.
That's really terrible. Yeah. That's yeah.
I think I read at the time. I remember being a kid.
I thought they were a couple or something when I was a kid.
Yeah, times were changing.
Yeah.
But not, I don't know. Like, you can't do that.
And then Halle's just, you know, what are you going to do? You can't really do anything in that moment, just except take it, I guess.
I wonder if she was married at the time. I think she might have been.
Maybe. I don't know.
Who knows?
I totally forgot that happened. Next up. Number 12, Billy Crystal did blackface as Sammy Davis Jr. in 2012 in a sketch during his hosting performance. Obviously, not a good choice. Not a great plan.
Coleman Domingo's directing a movie about Sammy Davis Jr.
Oh, yeah.
And it's starring Sydney Sweeney and then David Johnson from Alien Romulus.
Yeah.
He's going to play Sammy Davis Jr.
Great pick.
I can't wait to see him in a bunch of movies. He's
the king
so
of the
good.
blues.
So good. He just won the BAFTA for Rising Star.
Oh, you won?
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. Good for him.
Very well deserved. Seth MacFarlane, he hosted the Academy Awards. I think it was 2012.
I remember this. This was
2010,
awkward.
something like that. And then he did a musical bit called "We Saw Your Boobs."
This was bad.
It was an ill-received opening number in which he named actors who'd done nude scenes and actresses. And basically, he was singing, and he'd be like, name an actress, then he'd say, "We saw your boobs" in the song, and then they cut to awkward and uncomfortable reactions of those actresses, like Charlize Theron or someone else.
Yeah.
And it was very cringe. It was very offensive. He also mentioned Scarlett Johansson's nude pictures leaked when her phone got hacked, and he brought that up. He's like, "We saw your nudes on our phone," so it was not a good bit.
So we got Naomi Watts, Charlize Theron. Jennifer Lawrence laughed at it. I'm not surprised at that. And it was. I remember this being really awkward, and I'm sure the women were mortified that like, this is my big night, and you're just talking about how I got naked in a movie.
Yeah,
really terrible. That did not. That I don't think. He was probably the wrong choice to host the Oscars. He could sing.
Not necessarily the wrong choice, but I mean, it's the wrong bit.
Yeah. Okay, you're right.
Wrong bit.
Next up, in 1974, as host David Niven was introducing presenter Elizabeth Taylor, a completely nude streaker, ran across the stage behind him and threw a peace sign, then disappeared. I remember seeing this on YouTube years ago, like at a baseball game, nude streaker. Oh, that's great.
So we have another controversy from 1934, similar to La La Land and Moonlight. So host Will Rogers announced the Best Director winner at the Academy Awards in 1934. He called out, "Come up and get it, Frank." So Lady for a Day director Frank Capra began making his way to stage, but Will actually meant Cavalier director Frank Lloyd. The walk back to the seat, according to Frank Capra, was the longest, saddest, most shattering walk in his life.
Wow, dude, pay a little better attention. There's 2 Franks on that list. Oh my God,
he's probably friends with one of them.
Yeah, you read 5 names, man. Damn. Next up, in 2023, very recent, obviously being 2 years ago.
Oh yeah, it's not that. It's only 2 years. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's
pretty
only-
recent.
it's only-
That classifies as recent.
It's almost as recent as when The Nice Guys was released.
Inside joke.
Andrea Riceborough was nominated for Best Actress in the film To Leslie, which was an indie film, but her campaign had some people calling her for her nom to be rescinded. Mary McCormack, who's married to the movie's director, Michael Morris, reportedly emailed and called tons of members of the Academy's actors branch, begging them to see the Little Watch alcoholic drama and post online about Andrew Riseborough's searing performance. So I remember this, and I remember it was just absolute fucking BS story because people were complaining that someone sent out emails encouraging people to watch this film.
And then there was another A-list actress who posted about like how great she was in the movie.
Yeah.
And so, and like
Riceborough's friends
yeah,
with
it was
another,
like Kate Winslet or someone
like,
huge.
Here's the thing: it's like I don't understand. People like acted like it was like breaking the rules, and I remember there was a story like we're gonna look into this, but it was like a person sent out emails. We were just talking about like studios fund $1 million campaigns to promote actors. They throw lavish parties.
They put billboards out.
They put billboards up. Behind closed doors, it's like we don't know about this stuff. They throw lavish parties for the press to meet celebrities and for Oscar voters. They give them presents. They give them gift baskets with like incredible merch in it. Not even merch, but like amazing things. And also, they also send screeners of the film to every member of the Academy. They send them screeners. And so I found it so ridiculous that people were upset that Andrea Riceborough got nominated because someone sent emails to people to watch this film.
It's so silly because if you live in LA, this is where most of the voters live.
Yeah.
Award season, billboards everywhere for an actor for a movie. Like you'll see him for Timothée Chalamet, For Your Consideration, for A Complete Unknown.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because that's going to reach way more people than an email that got sent to, 50 people probably? And they're voters, but the voters are going to see that too. You're paying like $20,000 to have a billboard up on Sunset.
And the thing is, she never asked, Mary McCormack never asked people to vote for Riceborough. She just asked people to watch the film because it was a no-budget movie with no release, or like hardly any kind of release.
Yeah, it was pretty ridiculous.
And also, Andrea Riceborough is phenomenally talented.
She's great.
She's a great actor.
Yeah.
And I mean, I found it so silly being like, studios literally spend millions on campaigns. Millions.
Yeah.
They have entire teams to market it.
It's insane.
It's wild. Emails? You're upset about some emails?
Practice. Talk about practice.
Playoffs?
Emails. There's 7 billboards on Sunset Boulevard for Your Consideration.
Yeah, I just...
Emmy season, same shit. Golden Globes, same thing.
I just drove by A Complete Unknown For Your Consideration when it said A Complete Miracle is like what the billboard was called.
For Your Consideration.
Yeah, it's just like emails.
You don't think Academy voters are going to see that? And it got funded by a studio.
They also throw parties to meet the actors.
They have a kissing booth with Ryan Gosling.
He really fell on hard times.
For Your Consideration.
He put all his Barbie money into Bitcoin. All right, let's take it away with some of the biggest surprises in Oscar history.
We've actually already touched on a lot of these, so it's going to kind of end quickly. Like the Hurt Locker beating Inglourious Bastards, I think that was a surprise for Best Picture winner.
Yes.
I think Inglourious Bastards is a superior movie. I think The Hurt Locker is fucking awesome. I love that movie, man.
I was also expecting James Cameron to win Best Director that year, though.
Mm-hmm. For Avatar?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty surprising to win Best. I mean, Catherine Bigelow's great, and she deserved.
She's
to win.
amazing in it.
You know,
she's an amazing director.
That was a big Oscar. You know, this is the first director female win at the Academy Awards. That's a huge award.
She never gets that much attention.
I think. Well, I mean, she still makes lots of movies.
Yeah, but I don't see many people talking about Catherine Bigelow.
Not anymore. Too bad. She's
it's
great.
like she doesn't exist, honestly.
Nah, not necessarily.
I'm just saying. I don't ever hear people talking about her.
I think she's fucking awesome.
She's made some great movies.
Yeah, I think if that movie didn't come out, Inglourious Bastards is taking away fucking 10 awards.
Oh, for sure.
You know? And then Crash winning Best Picture, big surprise. Green Book winning Best Picture, big surprise. Dr. Dolittle, the
Eddie
original,
Murphy one?
No, 1967. Same
Best
concept.
Picture?
Best Picture nomination.
Wow.
That was also a big surprise. I looked that up and found that.
Wow, that's amazing.
But yeah, I think those are some funny little surprises to end.
Those are cute little surprises.
Yeah, I'm glad.
Has there been a recent surprise?
For wins?
Yeah. I was surprised Bohemian Rhapsody got nominated.
For Best Picture?
Yeah. That was a surprise.
Me too. It's a good movie, but when it comes to musicals that year, I think Rocketman was Rocketman the next year?
Yes.
Okay, never mind. I think Rocketman's awesome.
I think Rocketman's superior in every way.
That was surprising for me, Rocketman not getting the acclaim that Bohemian Rhapsody got.
I agree. I thought Rocketman would crush it, but it didn't get anything.
Because I was based off like, oh, Bohemian got all these nominations and all this acclaim, and everyone was talking about that movie.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm sure Rocketman will get the same because I think Rocketman's a superior film and is just so good.
Yeah. I think the biggest surprise ever is Amelia Perez getting 13 nominations.
That might be the biggest surprise in the history of the Academy Awards,
I think
besides
so.
the slap.
Yeah, no one was seeing this. No one expected the slap, but no one expected Amelia Perez getting 13. And again, it's gonna go home empty-handed. If I was a betting man, I'd throw it into Honora. Can I bet on it in Los Angeles, or do you have to be in that state?
No, it's legal to
Online?
bet. Yeah, online.
You can do it online. It doesn't matter what state you're in.
No, some states you can't bet online, so you just look that up. But yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
I'm pretty sure it's legal in California.
Let me see. Can you bet? Can you gamble
But yeah, you just make bets online. You make an account on a
online
bookie
in
site.
California? Online casinos are legal in California.
Yeah. Not everywhere. It's a state by state thing.
Well, for anyone who can bet, I'd say put your money down on Honora and Sean Baker for a sleeper, big return on investment.
Is it sleeper though for him to win?
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
Brady Corbett's 78% chance.
He's second though. A sleeper is like there's no way this you wouldn't think that person would win. That's a sleeper, not the second most high probable person to win.
I'm just saying Brady Corbett
Underdog.
At that number is he underdog.
Underdog
okay,
win. Underdog
Okay,
win.
you're right. Not sleeper.
sleeper.
Not sleeper. An underdog. You're right. An underdog. Words matter.
Like sleeper would be if someone who wasn't even nominated won.
Well, this year sleeper would be if Denis Villeneuve won to be a sleeper win.
Which is crazy. All right, that wraps our pretty fun episode on the biggest Oscar snubs and biggest Oscar controversies in the history of the award show. Let us know which ones your favorites are, and let us know who you think's going to win all the awards this year. Leave us some DMs, some comments on YouTube, subscribe on all the platforms, leave those 5-star ratings and reviews on Spotify and Apple. Become a patron today at patreon.com/Raiders of Lost Podcast, and take care, everybody.
See you next time.
This episode was brought to you by our chosen one patrons, Jacob Kossler and Nicholas Martin. Thanks so much, boys. Raiders of the Lost Podcast is a mirror image production. Sound mixing done by Jacob Kossler. Opening music by Chase Jackson.